am Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and for the last 2 months I've been working really hard on a brand new book, and I am really excited about it. It's called Fast Faces, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be available next Tuesday. It's a method that absolutely should not work, but it does, and it is so much fun that it's almost addictive. This is my very first one. I liked him so much I made a plaster cast of him, and I'm going to show him. I'll bring him up here. This is Oscar. He came about when I was working on another portrait. I was actually trying to get one that was all, right, with the eyeballs in the right place and stuff. I was using some photographs for models, and I'd been working on it for like 3 days, and I just didn't like the way it was coming out. It just wasn't any fun, to be honest. I was getting things really close, but they weren't exactly right. And when you're doing a portrait, you got to do it exactly right. But I thought, okay, the forehead isn't quite wide enough. I'm going to pull a ball of clay out of the bag, and I'm going to, get some clay off of there, and I'm going to add a little bit more just to see if I can get this portrait to work a little bit better. I know you guys have had projects like that too, where you think it's going to be fun and then it's not. Well, anyway, I had this clay in my hand. And just before I was getting ready to take some off of it, I looked down, and there was this little jolt of recognition. It was really cool, because there was a face on it. I mean, I didn't put it there, and it wasn't complete, but there was a very, very specific suggestion of a face that, after a little bit of time, just with the tools in my fingers, turned into this. Now, he doesn't have any forehead. He doesn't have much of a chin. If you saw him walking down the street, you'd think he was pretty weird. But as a character, it actually works. You don't have to have everything in the right place. In fact, you can, those little happy faces with the yellow happy face with nothing on it but the eyeballs and the grin, they don't look like people either, but you know what it is. And that's kind of how these work. And every single time you make one, there's that little boost that you get that's really fun when you have to crumple the clay around a little bit, usually, in order to get any kind of feature that will show up. But once you do, and you actually see it, and then you start building the clay around it, just pushing things out just a little bit, and a little bit here and a little bit there, putting the eyes on there to make them look a little bit more realistic and that sort of thing. And after just a little bit of work, you actually have a little character that looks like he's looking back at you. What's really fun about this, aside from just the fact that it's almost like a game that you're playing, and the clay is playing an actual active role in the whole process, is that I've been doing sculpting and drawing and painting for years, a long, long time. And I've gotten, I think, pretty good at reproducing things that I see. If I see like a raccoon or a cat or something, I can reproduce that in a sculpture or a drawing. But I never really had a whole lot of confidence in my ability to make something totally unique, something that was really new, something that I hadn't done before and nobody else had ever done before. But now, because every single one of these faces is different, and they have to be different because they're based on the suggestions that are in the clay. And clay has no brain. It can't, do it on purpose. So they're all going to be kind of at random. But even though the clay suggests all these things, I'm still the one who's creating the face. I'm the one who decides exactly how big that nose is going to be. Quite often I make it really big. I don't know why. That's part of the creative voice thing that you get to learn when you're doing these. So it's just really fun, and you get that little boost of recognition, both when you see it on the clay. That's like finding a puzzle piece or something. Like when you find the piece of a jigsaw puzzle and you know that that's the right one. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like playing a game. You don't really know if you're going to win or lose until you actually pull something out of the bag and squish it around a little bit. So it's that kind of excitement, of anticipation that's really fun. And then when it's done, you have a little guy looking back at you. And he's got a personality all of his own that you would never have put there yourself if you had done it any other way, because the clay is helping. Now, another thing that's really kind of fun is that your mind changes. Your ability to see these features actually gets better after you've done some of these faces, and it was something that I had documented because I was taking photographs all the way through because of these videos and because I was putting the book together. So I could go back and see exactly what I was able to see with the first ones and how much I could see now. This guy, all of the features were pretty darn obvious, or I probably wouldn't have seen them at all. You can tell that for sure on the one that I showed you guys on a video. The very second one I ever did was, I had the video camera turned on, but I edited out a lot of the first part of the video because I was just looking at a ball of clay that I thought did not have anything on it. I don't want to bore you guys with just a lump of clay. Why would I show you that, right? So when I was starting to write the book, I went back and looked at that video again at the part that I had previously edited out. And on that one lump of clay, I found, now I can see, there were 3 different, almost complete faces on it that I didn't see before. And they were really cute. They were totally different from what I ended up with. And I really liked the one I ended up with, so I'm not sorry that I didn't do the other ones. But on the other hand, I'm really happy about the fact that I'm now able to see so much more detail than I was before. Temple Grandin talks about this in her book called Animals Make Us Human. She talked a lot about how human beings have a filter that keeps us from seeing details. Animals see like everything, but people generalize things, and so we don't really look at all the details that we're seeing around us, and that's a good thing as the normal rule, because there are people who do see every single detail and they can't help but see it, and it's kind of debilitating. It's just so overwhelming. So we need those filters to keep us from seeing all the details. But if you're an artist, you need to see more details than other people do, and you need to be able to see details on purpose. You need to know exactly what it is that makes this person's eyes different from that person's eyes. That's the kind of detail that you need to get down to if you're really going to be good at drawing and sculpting. And because most of us have that filter, we have to actually train ourselves how to see. That's kind of what I've been doing with these little faces, but in a slightly different way. It's been training me, and it didn't take very long. That was what was amazing. The little guys don't take very long to make. And this change in the filterability of my brain, I don't know what to call it, that changed really fast too after like 5 or 6 of these little faces. Because now, when I'm talking to myself a lot about faces, because I'm writing a book about it, I can see faces like everywhere. This is something that Leonardo da Vinci did on purpose in order to create his masterpieces. When he needed inspiration, needed something just something new to kind of get his brain going and get his creativity working, he would go out and look at a blank wall that was made with stones and stucco. So you have all these bumps and shadows and shapes, just totally random. And he would do the same thing that we do when we're making these fast faces. He would find meaningful shapes in all those random marks. And he would be able to then, take out his notepad and he would draw those shapes. Like if he needed a really interesting expression on someone's face, that maybe he had a whole bunch of people in a painting and he needed one of them to really stand out with an unusual expression, he would find one. Just like we're doing. He would do it a whole lot better than I can. He's a genius, of course, but he could find whole people fighting with each other. He could find landscapes, everything. And he'd just go out to the same wall, and every time he looked at it, he would see exactly what he needed to. Like, inspiration was something that he could go get. He didn't have to wait for the muse to show up. Not at all. Because he knew how to tap into that ability to turn random shapes into something that meant something. This guy is probably not up to Leonardo da Vinci's standards, but it's still a heck of a lot of fun, and it just really opens up your ability to create new and unique and really exciting characters. Now, kids can do this too. This is not just for us old people. a kid, I would say probably middle school and up, if they're really interested in teaching themselves how to sculpt, and especially if they were interested in character drawing or creating really unusual people that they would need for like maybe their animated videos or graphic novels, this would be a perfect way to do it. I wish that I had known how to do this when I was a kid. It would have opened up things so much more. Just the fact that it would have, well, like I said, I have never really felt confident in my ability to create completely new and unique pieces of art. This has changed that. I think that this should be taught in every grade school art class. Seriously, I think it's that important because it just totally opens up your mind, both because of that filter thing and because of the confidence and because it helps you find your own creative voice. 3 things really important while having just a heck of a lot of fun. Now, I do hope that the book will be available on Amazon.com on Tuesday. I'm obviously going to put together a video and a blog post just to let you know so that you can all go out and see it. So that's all I've got for you today. I'm really looking forward to that publication date. I really hope it's done on Tuesday so that I can start getting some feedback from you guys. I really want to know what you think about it, especially if you actually try it, not just read the book, but actually get some clay and try it. And in the meantime, be sure and watch all the videos. I've got tons of them on my YouTube channel, and there's a lot of really fantastic guest posts out on ultimatepapermache.com that you're missing if you only watch me on YouTube. So make sure that you go see those too. I'll see you there.